Rebekah, we are sat here with your first 3 books that you have written called True Freedom. Tell me, how did this project come about? What inspired you?
So I've been working in addiction sector for over 10 years, but about 3.5 years ago, my husband and I became the directors of Hope Centre Ministries UK charity, but then one of those particular homes needed a director to step in, so I did that. And so I was there on the ground day after day, and God started to really open my eyes to a whole new way of seeing addiction. And that was combined with the study I was doing and my own personal journey. I grew up around addiction, had my own wrestles, and God just opened my eyes to a whole different way of seeing it. And so I started teaching the women from that perspective, and the results were just so different. And then they started saying, Bex, it's not fair that the guys aren't getting this. You need to write it down so they get this. And so I started writing it down. I started making notes in my notes app on my phone. And those notes got longer and longer and longer. And then next thing I knew, I was like, well, this is looking like a book. And then I had a publisher interested. And it's happened so organically. But yeah, it was about, I saw the results. And so it was about then just expanding that reach.
Amazing. And obviously now, with having created these resources, right now that looks like these beautiful books that are sat right next to us, but you've got future plans as well for how you want to see it expand. Tell us more.
Yeah, because it's a resource to break addiction, and not just in people struggling with addiction, but in the church in general. Most of us misunderstand addiction, whether we're in it or not.
Yeah.
And we pretty much all know someone that's in it. And so how we see it doesn't just affect us, it affects those that we love and care about that are in it. And so I want to resource the local church to tackle this, to have, there's so much heart for it, there's so much desire to deal with this.
Yeah.
But one of the most common feedback I've had from local church leaders when they've seen this is there's not been anything for us until now. There wasn't anything entirely biblical that was for complete new creation freedom, no temptation anymore, no desire for the substance or activity anymore, no battling and fighting and struggling every day. So, you know, so it's these books, but it's also online resources. I want to create a package that local church leaders and chaplains and what have you can sign up for, and there's equipping, there's training, there's ongoing connection, there's resources, video resources, how to run groups, things like that. And then on the website as well, there's going to be ongoing support for addicts, there's going to be ways for them to find their local True Freedom community group, there's going to be video resources. So yeah, it's going to keep on expanding.
Wow, amazing. But your heart is so clearly for people, to see people in freedom, and as you say, to see communities absolutely transformed, including equipping the local church. So tell me about that passion as well, because this is something that's faith-based, and you've seen these results. Tell me, like, why would you say this? What's been so special about this? What's made this so different to everything else that's out there at the moment?
Well, equipping the local church has always been, since I can remember, the church has been one of my biggest passions, burdens, like things I get angry about, things I get excited about.
Yeah.
And addiction is such a huge issue, and it's not just outside the church to evangelise, it's in as well. Like statistically, 1/3 of most congregations are struggling with some sort of addiction.
Wow.
Even though many are hidden and functional, they are there. But so often I see on television shows and on Facebook posts and in passing conversations talk of how an addict has to battle every day and addiction is a lifelong struggle. And now that, since God showed me this different way of looking at addiction and how it actually works and how it deceives and tricks, and once we know how the trick works, we don't fall for it anymore. It grieves me so much that people are battling when they don't have to. Like, once you see it for what it is, it's not a battle anymore. And so this bookwork, that's what it does. It exposes the illusion. It exposes the trick for what it is and how it tricks us scientifically, spiritually, psychologically. And so once you know how the trick works, you don't keep falling for it anymore. And then you'll have a life of freedom. You have a life, your recovery is then being a disciple. It's not living your whole life in recovery from addiction.
Amazing. So it is literally what the book says, true freedom. It's that new creation that Jesus tells us that we can be, that actually the work that he did on the cross is enough. You know, what he has done is enough, and we can live in that true freedom. It's amazing. You're inspiring to talk to because your passion is just so authentic. And there's these 3 books now, the book work that people can go through and discover this journey. And tell us, how can people kind of get in touch and find out more now?
So we're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, but the best way is the website, so truefreedomrecovery.com. And at the moment, it's at its initial stages, so you can buy the books there, you can get in touch. But as it develops, there's going to be subscription pages, there's going to be online resources, there's going to be video resources for people battling addiction themselves and on this journey, and also for people that want to support those people. Amazing.
So watch this space, because this is only going to grow and only going to impact more and more and more people. It has been such a pleasure to talk to you today, Bex. Thank you so much for your time, and we are praying that this has mighty impact, not just across individuals, but massive communities as well. Lives changed as this work goes out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amen.
Amen.